here so long. Did do that, hey? Ooh, I gotta go check first before I do anything stupid. Let me see what I added as my hotkeys. Yeah, so it's 9 now. Okay, cool. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. And voila! Now you can see my board. Let's slap out a challenge there and see if we get someone. So I tend to try and challenge people who are within 100 points of my rating, either up or down. So yeah, I'm sitting here waiting. Otherwise, okay, there we go. It seems like we found an opponent. Yay! Alexander Ugolev. Jeez. Okay. So, shall we play normal chess today? Or shall we play crazy chess today? Let's play normal chess. I'm gonna play a Sicilian. Finish my coffee over there. Okay. I am in the chat. On Twitch, of course. Not on here. Although I guess I could be. I could be in the chat in our club, in the Next Move Chess Academy club. So it looks like I'll get a mainline Sveshnikov, which I do play. Let's see what he plays. Knight d5, bishop g5. It's pretty much the only two lines. Bishop g5 it will be. My prediction. There we go. Knight a3, b5, knight d5. Or will he play bishop takes f6 line? Nope, knight d5. Knew that was going to happen. Bishop takes knight. Bishop takes bishop. Come on, we all know it's going to happen. I can pre-move this because it's going to happen. You might want to play something like knight takes e7. I haven't played against that in a while. Yeah. Play queen takes. And c3. Okay. Now. There are these lines. Okay, not in c3. I think it's an f3 where there's a line. Okay, let's take a bit of time. I mean, you know, this is the whole point. We have time. So the pawn on e4 is looking a little meek. Little meek and weak. But it seems like our best option here is just to develop, huh? Okay. It's been a while since I've played against this line, so here we are, up against it now. I could play h6 and g5 just to get rid of this pin. Actually, he's going to have to take, isn't he? If I play h6, he's going to have to take, because g5, I just win the pawn on e4. So h6, queen takes, bishop takes f6, queen takes f6, followed by castling, maybe. All should be okay. Or do I just castle straight away? Maybe we don't want to force the issue. Castle, he plays knight c2, play bishop b7, play knight c3, and then we play maybe knight b8. It's the kind of thing that we would do. Okay, let's castle. Let's keep it simple. Let's not confuse ourselves here. So we see what he ends up doing. So here already we have to start looking at the pawn structures here. We know that we have this backward d pawn, okay? Which I'd love to play d5, of course, if I can at some point. Which is another reason why I want to play maybe bishop b7, knight b8, knight d7, knight b6. Okay, so this knight goes along this route. Takes a little run up the board there. So that's something that we would like to do. We might have time for it. I'm not quite sure if we do though. Again, you know, it's an opening I play, but I haven't played against knight takes e7 in a while. So you don't just want to rush things, you know? I mean, there's no point in playing quickly in the opening, making a stupid mistake, and then you're basically just suffering for the rest of the game. So why not use your time instead? We have increments. So with the increment, you want to obviously use it. You know, if you get into a position where you're obviously winning, then it doesn't matter. Then the time is not a factor because the increment will save you. If there is anybody in the chat, just shout out me and just tell me if the sound is okay and everything. My opponent also now decides that he wants to think, which is a good thing as well. You know, the Sveshnikov, it becomes a big thing about nuances as well. You know, like little something here, little something there, move order changes. So, you know, you can't just do what you normally do, you know, play knight c2, knight e3, knight d5, or knight f5, or whatever. It's not always just that easy. I am looking at bishop e6 maybe as well as a possibility. Because if it takes, pawn takes, I have these ideas of rooks. I can take queen takes. If he plays queen takes d6, then I play rook a to c8. Then his queen has to move again. Then rook f to d8. Then his queen has to move again. You know what I mean? So you get a lot of activity here. Okay, so now he closes the d file for himself for now. So I don't have to stress about this anymore for a while now. So bishop e6 is now even more possible. Now the reason why I want the bishop maybe on e6 is because then I cover f5 as well. Just for the knight coming to c2, e3, and f5. Okay, so I might want to, you know, do something about that. Or have an option of doing something about that. But I do like bishop e7 still as well, because of the the e pawn as well. And now he is still a couple of moves away from doing anything. Bishop e7, castle, rook d8, or maybe knight b8 immediately. Now I don't have to worry about the d pawn. Knight there, knight there, knight there. h6 maybe. No, knight there, I have a lot of attackers on. So bishop b7 or bishop e6, that's the question now. Bishop b7 looks logical in this specific line. Like I say, I will have to divert my knight to b8, maybe either to b6 or c5. So these are good squares for this knight to be. So this knight wants to be either here or here. This one looks like the best option because on c5 it would be obviously attacking both of these guys. And of course with the bishop on b7, then we would have this lovely diagonal here as well. So okay, bishop b7, I don't see any reason why not. So bishop b7. Now again, this, you know, when I have to decide which rook to put on d8, you know, this one will be preference, because of course this rook still has a good diagonal file, semi-open file here as well. Okay, so he goes for this immediately. So he might be a bit quicker now. You see, now he sees the opportunity of going to f5. Now I have an idea here. I can maybe go even knight d8, knight e. and knight c5 as well. See, so, we have to stay focused on what we want to achieve, where we want our pieces, and then we need to get there. So knight there, knight e3, knight there, knight f5, queen d8 again. These bishops hanging then. Again, we still have a lot of time. I mean, 11 minutes is a lifetime, okay? We play bullet games with 10 seconds, so, this is a lifetime. Knight, 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 queen d8. Then his bishop has to move. But the knight is strong. Well, okay, he might have to take us. Ah, you see, he could maybe then take on d. Okay, so that's not going to work. It's not going to be very nice. Not so nice. So this is the problem that we are going to have to deal with. Now h6 now. Plays g5, then again he will probably end up losing that pawn. So h6 now forces the matter. Then maybe he has to play queen. A bishop takes knight. And after queen takes, knight f5 has lost a bit of its luster, and we also have knight e7 as a defensive move. Okay, so let's play h6 now. I think it is important for us to force the matter now. We have to give him the choice. He has to make a decision now. Maybe g5 is a little bit random. Maybe it's a bit too aggressive. It is possible that this move is a bit too aggressive as well. But we will get knight with a tempo. So g5, bishop g5, bishop g7. It doesn't look logical for us to play g5 because, it looks like a weakening of that of the king here. Because h4, he hasn't castled yet. But after, so g5, bishop there, knight d8. Now we're threatening on e4. Important to note that. And this knight of ours is going to go to e6 still, and go to f4 even maybe. Or c5 still. So either there or there is good spots for this knight to go. So let's be a little aggressive. I think we're going to try play g5. At least we still have these squares covered by our knight. Okay, knight d8. Because now we're threatening on e4. So we're just threatening to win a pawn. And of course, even h4 is nothing yet. Because the pawn is protected. These guys are protecting each other. So there's nothing yet. Nothing quite yet. Okay, I guess if we play knight takes, but then we can play even queen takes maybe as well. So if knight takes e4, if h4, knight takes e4, pawn takes, we can play queen takes as well. Okay, so queen e4. Now, of course, the knight will get to f4 with a tempo. Or to c5. Okay, so knight e6 looks logical. I mean, why wouldn't we play that? Okay, knight goes in there. So we can win a pawn now, straight away, do we not? No, we don't. His knight's going to come in on that square there. That's a beautiful square for the knight to be right now. Of course, we can... Question is, do we have time for all of this? Okay, so... So this is a calculation point now, because we do have the idea of taking on e4. No, I don't like it. I feel like we're gonna end up being in trouble. An f5 square is very strong. We don't want to lose grip. Now we do have knight. I see I'm being challenged here. I'm only gonna play one game at a time, boys and girls. And preferably, obviously, I'm trying to play against strong players here as well. So okay, so knight g7 is an option because the pawn again is once again is hanging. So let's play knight g7. We have to defend now, and we can play maybe d5. It is also a move that we're always looking for is d5. So if you play something like f3, maybe we can play d5. f3 also limits the scope of his queen coming in here, so it may be okay. There's no worries about him ever being able to take here, because in the end, if we get rid of all the pieces on this e file and he takes the bishop, we can just pin the bishop. So something like f3, d5, pawn takes, knight takes, bishop takes, queen takes, bishop takes, and then just pin. And he doesn't have f4 as a saving grace. Important to note. Can anybody maybe just tell me if the stream is looking okay? Everything is alright and the sound is okay? I assume it is, of course, but when I was doing the countdown thing or whatever, I saw that my stream looked like it was struggling a bit. Obviously, on the countdown thing, it can't struggle at all, but you know, it was suffering a bit, so I wasn't sure what was going on. That's all. Okay, so we are attacking on e4 now. Still, I'm gonna have to make a decision on this one. Kind of hoping he plays knight f5. No, knight f5 is bad because he loses the g2 pawn. Knight d5 is not possible either, so f3 looks like the only real option here. He plays queen f3 or something. Yeah, now d5 looks tempting. I mean, should we just play d5? It is a smasher. We smash in there. Plays bishop there. We can just attack it. So let's play d5. d5 looks like an instinctive move that we kind of have to play. At least f5 is not a square anymore for him. So after this, knight takes. Now we can play f5, f4 as well. And we can play knight f4 as well. Okay. Hope I didn't miss anything here. Nothing too wackadoodles. Maybe bishop e4 is the plan now for him. Again, he can't win the pawn. It's not possible because I just pin him. So the pawn's immune for now. Claims immunity. And we're still not looking too bad on time. We are down 3 minutes, but you know, 7.5 minutes, more than enough time to play a game of chess. Seeing that we play 3 minutes usually, so lots of time to think here. He has a bishop pair, so now maybe we have to look at the pawn structure again. So he's got the 3 versus 2 majority. Okay, he does have the bishop pair. I don't know if I like this move. I looked at it, but I mean, okay. His queen is protected for now, isn't it? But after rook e8, we take, and then bishop c4. I don't know. Isn't there just? Okay, maybe he has time to get out of it, huh? Because if I play rook e8 now, he goes bishop takes. He goes bishop takes g7. Maybe I take and play bishop c4 immediately. Then he moves his bishop. Oh, he starts taking pawns as well, doesn't he? Takes there, I take there, he goes there. Oh, maybe he has to be careful. Because I have lots of nice discover checks. So, okay, so the line goes as follows. Rook f to e8. Bishop takes knight. Queen takes e2. Bishop takes e2. And bishop c4. Now we can play bishop takes h6, but then after rook takes e2 check, he cannot go king f1. So he has to go king d1. Then rook d8 check. King c1. Then rook d2. Now bishop takes g5. I mean, his rooks are really passive. He is up a couple of pawns, of course. But we can win a bunch of them back as well. Looks like a good position. I mean, instinct. Now, see, now this is instincts. My vision, as far as I can see, if I get the two rooks on the on the second rank, it looks extremely strong for me. So I can't see why I wouldn't do it. So everything will be tempo. So I take there. His bishop's hanging, so he's gonna have to move his bishop. Then I take that one as well. I like where my thought process is going. So rook e8. Is there any funky intermezzos? I don't think so. So rook e8. Okay. We're kind of like committed now. We have committed to the line. Of course, there's a way for him to maybe avoid. There's no way to avoid any of this. If he takes bishop takes h6 in the end, then he is going to have to play this whole line. But maybe he just goes bishop d4 or bishop f6 maybe even, instead of taking on h. Actually, taking on h traps his bishop, does it not? I want to see if I can trap his bishop maybe as well in that line. Okay, queen takes. And then bishop c4 is the key move now. Again, you can't go king f1 after rook takes e2. It's impossible because of rook e6 check, winning the bishop on h6. If he takes bishop takes h6, of course. Now, I still don't like his position anyway. You know, even if he doesn't, if he goes like, let's say bishop d4, I take here check, and then I double the rooks. Or I just take on g2 immediately. No, I think doubling the rooks maybe is a better idea. Because this pawn and this pawn will be hanging. So even though this is opposite bishop, one thing you have to remember with opposite bishops is that whoever is attacking has the advantage. Because of course, I'm attacking on all these white squares of his, bam, 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 you know. I'm taking control of this. This is my game plan. And his bishop is useless to do anything about it. There's nothing he can do about that. Now he has to move his bishop now. And it seems like if he wants to try and claim any advantage, he has to take on h6. Now if the rook takes king, check, king, maybe f6 is an option. I like this f6 idea. Because he doesn't have time. He has to play h4 then. Then he loses a lot of time. So bishop d4. Okay, so now he had to concede. So after rook takes g2. So we get our pawn back, and now obviously we have this bishop e2 threat. This pawn is weak. I think that we definitely have the better end of the stick here. The proverbial stick. So he's going to go that way. Now, do I just want to keep the tension with my bishop here? See, bishop here maybe is very strong as well. Because, you know, I want to keep his king trapped in there. Can he free himself from this position that I have? Maybe. Even though I don't see it, maybe he can. Again, instinctively, my idea is bishop d3 seems to be more logical. Okay, bishop d3. You know, again, if I look far into this, I like what I see. Because I was looking at maybe h4 for him, but then rook e8. If he takes my pawn, I play rook e2. And suddenly his king is starting to look awkward because his bishop also covers a good amount of squares here to trap his king into a mate there. So I think rook e1 is almost forced here. Okay, see, he plays h4, but I don't believe it. I think rook e8 puts him under a lot of pressure. He takes, I play there, he takes, and then there's surely a mate. Surely there's a mate there. Now if he plays rook e1, I just take it, he takes, and I take the pawn on a1, on h4. Because his rook is still stuck here. You see, this rook here is the key point for us as well. Because we have this beautiful domination of the second rank, we have an advantage. Again, his bishop is not playing a part. The bishop can maybe help defend on a square where we would like to check. See, check, king goes here, check, king goes there, check. I don't see a mate yet. Check, king goes there, check. So we do have to be a bit careful. We also have bishop g2 check, by the way, bishop e2 check, by the way. With a discovered check if it goes on to the second rank. Okay, so now we have to think about this because I don't see a mate directly with the other plan. So here, check. King goes c2, go check. King goes here, maybe? But then just here, check. No, okay, so there, 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 there. So of course we're getting lower on time now, but you know, if we can find the killer blow, then it doesn't matter. Then time is no longer a factor. So king there, king c1, bishop takes. If he plays pawn takes, then king h7 stops anything. And then we obviously just threaten to play rook e2, which is now devastating because the bishop covers that square. Okay, so bishop check. Bishop takes pawn. If takes rook takes, then we just mate. And now, of course, he can't put his rook on the square either. So my control over the G is the main focus here still. Just complete control over that G. Second rank, sorry. So if pawn takes h6, king h7, rook g1 is maybe a possibility for him, but I could probably just play rook h2. This rook g7 does nothing, I just take it, and then I have rook e1 as a mate threat as well. So I always have these mate threats. That is the key point in this game, again, is just this beautiful control, which means this rook is not playing in the game. I think rook h2 seems logical now. He doesn't have any attacking moves, so just rook h2. We're going to keep our position here. Rook check here, we just go king takes the pawn. If he takes there, it's still mate. So we have mate threats everywhere. So just keep it clean. We're keeping this clean. Rook e2 is the threat now, because there is a mate. With rook check, check, and checkmate. This pawn is going to die. So basically we're equal on material. It is the opposite bishop game, so I can always bail out if I have to. Always have a bailout of just swapping off the rooks, basically. You know, taking that one and then taking that one, and then we just have a draw. But we are still looking for a win. Because he's going to have to move something like c4. See, that move doesn't do anything, because I think I can just... I can just play rook e2. He can't take it. He doesn't have the options. Now he's going to have to play c4. And then I think bishop h5 maybe. Just protecting this pawn and keeping the bishop on this square here, on this diagonal, and also having the option of going to this diagonal as well. With rook c2 check, king goes there, and we just pop back. See, we stay focused on the advantages that we have. So he has to play c4, yes. I think check is immediately correct. So check here. Maybe even bishop e4 straight away. Bishop e4, rook takes pawn, rook takes, king takes here. Rook goes there, king goes here. I don't see how he is going to get anything. So rook e4, bishop e4, rook takes pawn, king takes check. There's nothing funny here. So bishop e4 looks like it just kills. Bishop e4 looks like it's just done and dusted. Because we have the obvious discover checks as well. In which case we can pick whichever piece we want to win. And we have mate threats as well with rook, with rook down. So bishop e4. I don't see how he is, gonna be able to keep on checking me. So we have lots of mate threats here. I hope I didn't miss anything now. I don't think so. I highly doubt that there's anything. So we have this rook moving with a mate on e1 or d1 or whatever, or e1, sorry. We have this rook moving down here, which is a mate. Yeah, we can win material, obviously. We can play rook check here and take the rook. I just don't see any good moves for him. If rook f6 check, then king g5, and he runs out of checks. it just looks done. You just can't see anything good for him here. And all because we had the control over the second file. Just saying thank you to my opponent. Uh-oh. But now it looks like I can't type, which means that there's some glitch, obviously, again, which is really annoying. When I stream, it seems like I can't type. It's just, I don't really know why, but okay. But okay, this game is pretty much done. There is nothing left for my opponent. So my instincts about e5 not being able to be taken was most likely correct. That does not save him. King g6. King g6. Maybe rook f1 was the plan here for him. But it doesn't work because I just play rook there, check. Yeah, he resigns. Let me just see if I can type anything. No, apparently I can't. Thank you so. Can I? You know, what happens if I refresh now? I don't think anything will happen, huh? Should we play another one maybe, or should we just let's keep it short? I'm only gonna play one game for today. So that was actually, you know, I'm happy with that game. That was really nice. Let's quickly go back and just have a look at that again. So we had the mainline Sveshnikov, which I've had quite, you know, obviously I've been playing it for a while now. I like the dynamic positions. You saw what happened there. It's a bit of maneuvering, a bit of nuances. He played the knight takes e7 variation, which I haven't played against in a long time. So I had to sit here and actually think, which is why we got so low on time. And, you know, why I obviously took more time to figure out what was going on. So after c3, I castled, he played bishop d3. Now, I think I'll criticize this move because this move takes a lot of pressure off of me. You know, the d6 problem the whole time, if we go back one move, then I can never play bishop e6, which I kind of also want to do, because after bishop takes f6, I have to take with the pawn. If I take with the queen, then I lose the d6 pawn, which in a lot of cases is perfectly acceptable, with rook c8 and rook f8 to follow as well. So, playable definitely, but, you know, obviously much harder than you want it to be. So by playing bishop d3 instead of bishop e2 possibly, and f3 of course, f3 is an important move for him. By playing bishop d3, now I have options to decide what I want to do. I don't have to worry about my d6 pawn anymore. This pawn is not an issue anymore. So we played bishop b7 instead because I figured, okay, we could get at least a decent amount of power on this long diagonal, which we did. Knight c2, because now he rushed to get to f5. I played h6 and I pushed g5, which maybe it was a little aggressive, but I feel like it's okay. So knight goes back here because the knight obviously wants to hit on f4 or c5. In this case, it actually went to g5, g7 I mean, to protect f5 square, which is interesting. You know, it was not your usual game. You know, we had to be creative in this game. So he had to protect the pawn with queen e2, knight e6, and knight e4. And now I had to play knight g7 in the end. I thought for quite a while here. So tell me how much time I spent here. There, we took about 2 minutes on this move out of a 15-minute game, because I was trying to find a way to make any piece taking on e4 work. But somehow it didn't work. Okay. Oh, I just want to see something again. Yeah, I can still make other colors. Can you make green? No, that's blue. Can you make? Yeah, you can make green as well. Not that green is a very nice color on the board where the squares are green. So maybe I should change my color scheme of my board. Okay, so knight g7 to keep the knight on f8, on f5 out, okay, to prevent this from happening. But I also like this position because now I actually get to play d5. which in, most of these situations where you do have this d6 problem, if you can play d5, then black should be in a decent position. So he had to play f3 here to protect the pawn on e4, and I played d5, and I opened up the game. Now, the key here is to note that his... The key here is to note that his rooks are not active yet. Okay. And mine are. Mine are going to get in here. This is what happens in the game. So I open up the position. So he takes, I take. And now he figured he could take the pawn. Now, my instincts told me that he couldn't take the pawn. Of course, if he played queen takes e5 first, then I just play queen takes e5, bishop takes e5, and rook e8. Now here in this position, I focused on just having control over the second rank. Okay? How do we get that? We play rook e8, he takes our piece, we take, he takes, and we play bishop c4. So now we get opposite bishops, but again, I have complete control over the second rank, which is a big issue for him. And again, his rooks are still sitting here in the corners doing very, very much nothing. This rook actually, the game ends with the rook still being on that square, trapped in the corner doing nothing. So he's basically down a whole rook. So he made the decision. I thought he might play bishop takes, oh man, can I not? Ugh. Okay, I didn't know that was going to happen. But, okay, I thought he might play bishop takes h6. Then it goes like this. King goes here, check, king goes here. Now I was thinking f6. Just because I get a lot of slow... Just trying to see if there's a mate, because I don't see a mate for myself here. So after something like that, I could probably play rook takes g2. Just trying to keep this bishop in here for now. Pawn takes, pawn takes. And now we have to try and find a finishing move. So let's say you play something like f4. We go here. See, because he can hide on the dark squares maybe. So we might have to be a bit more accurate here. This is the tricky question. Is right here is what do we do? I still think f6 is a good move. And then h4. Rook takes g2. There, and pawn. Maybe we can just play g4. Because the point is, again, this rook is not in this game. This rook is not in this game. Now we do threaten to play rook to d2. So let's say he plays here. Let's say we go rook e4. Just gobbling pawns, because this pawn should win the game for us now, because he is still without this rook. Without this rook, he's going nowhere. We don't have to stress about anything anymore. He's going nowhere without that rook. Okay, so let's go back to what actually happened in the game. He decided not to take the pawn, and I do think that it was a clever idea not to take the pawn. But his problems do not go away. We took this pawn, didn't we? Yes, we took this pawn. Now, I think also he might have to play... he played b3, rook, queen here. He might have to try and play something like... Yeah, it's hard to tell you what to do here. I must admit, this is not easy. Maybe a4 is possible here. But h4 I think is a mistake. He played h4, sorry. He played h4, and I think that's a mistake. I can't see that he's going to survive this. Because after check, he goes king here, I take here, he takes here, and I get the second rook here. As soon as I get my second rook to the second rank, it's done. He takes, my king is nice and safe on h7 behind his own piece. Then he tried to play this. I just go rook here because I have this rook e1 mate the whole time. So his rook can't go very far. You see. And there's no way to stop this from happening. So now he played here, which is bad because I can still just play here because he can't take the bishop because of the rook e1 mate. Then he played... What did he play? played c4 obviously now to be able to protect this square. Otherwise, I have rook check, and rook checkmate. Something like, let me just go back. Like let's say a random move. Let's say something like that. There we go. We go check, king goes here, check goes here, king goes here, and that would be mate because the bishop now covers that square. So we find a nice way to hem him in. Okay, so he has to play c4. But then I obviously realized now that, of course, after rook c2 check, king here, bishop e4, there's no way of stopping all the checks. Rook here is a check with mate. You know, there's just no way of stopping everything. So rook takes pawn, king takes here, check, and king here. And that's it. That's all she wrote. He can't come back with the rook because I just play here check. Of course. So yeah, now after king here, I just take this rook and mate. So that's it. That's it for the game for today. A little quick analysis afterwards as well. I'm actually really happy with that game. I think we played it quite nicely. And it's a really nice model game of just control, you know, having control over the second rank with your rooks, having activity, even though it's an opposite bishop's game, showing that, you know, the attacker has the advantage. Okay, thank you, folks. I shall see you guys later for Untitled Tuesday. I'm gonna start spamming some advertisement for Untitled Tuesday. To obviously get more players and naturally to get more people to come and watch the show as well tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's happening at 11:30 CET time. Whew, I have to think about that one. What other way can I think about that as well? I think 2:30 BST time, which is the time that, no, it's 3:30, sorry, 3:30 BST time, hey, because that is the time, yes, 3:30 BST, that's the same time as Chess TV schedule. Okay, cool guys, thank you so much, and I have a quick, well, just watch out for the donation video that will come out a little bit later today. I'll probably put it out before, yeah, I'll probably put it out soon, because I want to put it out before before the Untitled Tuesday as well. So, you know, if you guys can donate, you know, this is so that we can give you guys all kinds of great content. I'm going to continue on streaming every day, and we're going to add a lot of different shows for fun and so on and so forth. Cool, guys. Cheers.